Hello, I'm Dr. R. Associate Professor of AI&DS Department of Kalainar Karnadi Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. In today's session, let us look about mobile platforms. So, what are mobile platforms? Mobile platforms provides the hardware plus software environment. It controls the complete app execution, security, and resource management. So you need this mobile platforms to execute your app, which is in your mobile device. Those platforms could be of two different type. One would be iOS, which is of Apple, and another one is Android. So let us look what is iOS platform. So iOS platform was developed by Apple Corporation. So it was developed and it was maintained by Apple, which has a closely ecosystem for developing the applications on this platform. It is highly secure, stable, and gives a good performance. So all the applications are distributed via this mobile through Apple App Store. So let us now look the iOS architecture. So the iOS architecture is having four different layers starting from top to bottom. The topmost layer is a Cocoa Touch layer and the media layer and the core service layer and the core OS layer. The Cocoa Touch layer is the topmost layer. The all the layers are from top to bottom. Only the topmost layer are dependent on the lowermost layer. So let's look in detail what these layers about. So the iOS architecture are developed in such a way they are layered design which is giving good performance, stability, and ease of applications. So, the first Cocoa Touch layer is for designing the UI frameworks and the touch handling facilities that is built in your mobile. So, when you touch a mobile, it reacts. So, that is the main focus of this particular layer. The Cocoa Touch layer, when the highest layer in the iOS architecture. It is responsible mainly for all the user interactions and application level features. So whenever the mobile is touched, it gives some reactions, whether it is touch is being opened or it is being triggered for a user to give an input. It is responsible for user interaction and application level features. This layer allows developers to design touch-based, responsive, and interactive user interfaces. So this is the topmost layer which is functioning for all your user to get interacted. So whenever you open a mobile or wanted to give a password or you wanted to give a swipe or a pinch, anything that has gives some reactions that is handled by this layer. So all your user interface components and application multitasking facilities are being used by this. So it has a UI kit like the buttons, labels, text fields, which is built through this layer, and also the screen navigations. Everything is controlled by this particular layer, and also the event kit, which is used to make remembrance of the event or the calendar that is being built in the particular application in your mobile, and also the location based data to get triggered through map kit, and also the notification centers for all your push notifications, alert messages, everything. So Cocoa Touch layer is a layer, is the highest most layer for a touch responsive in your mobile device. And mainly This UI is being used to develop through this particular layer, and it also handles the multi-touch and gesture recognition. For example, when a user taps a button in an iOS mobile or a mobile app, the event is handled by the Cocoa Touch layer. And the next important layer is a media layer. All your multimedia applications, that is audio video files, get rendered through this particular layer. It allows the developers to create visually rich and multimedia intense applications through this particular layer. They are for rendering the 2D and 3D graphics, and all the audio playbacks are supported through this particular layer. All the visual effects gets triggered by this particular layer. They have a AV foundation, that is audio video foundations, and the graphics applications for the different types of shapes and images, and to render in your application, and also smoothing applications in your videos. Also, they have a GPU based rendering and a high performance sound aesthetics to be given through this particular layer. So game development especially need the sprite kit, which is for rendering the audio video in a good way. So this layer is responsible for supporting all the multimedia that is built in your application. So it is extensively for games, media players, and your AR applications that is built in your mobile. For example, when you a video or an animated video for a screen which is wanted to get opened or wanted to do something in your mobile, this layer is responsible for rendering that particular application. The next layer is a core service layer. Core service layer is a layer which provides the system essentials. It acts as a bridge between your UI and a low level functionality. That is, between your OS and your UI, core service layer is responsible for all the storage management, networking, and the location and device service controls. All this handled by this particular layer. And the major frameworks that is in the uh, this layer is, they are useful for storing the core data, and you they also some of the data are stored in the cloud storage, and you get synchronized through that. And also the location and geofencing, where the particular application is uh, built in your mobile, and the networking services that is being given to that particular phone, all are being controlled by this particular layer. So that is what is, and it is acts as a bridge between your UI and your OS. So example is whenever you wanted to have a local data that syncs with your mobile and the cloud. So all the networking aspects are controlled by this particular layer. And the fourth layer, the bottommost layer, is the OS layer, which directly interacts with the hardware and manages the low level system operations. So they are responsible for the memory management processes that is going on head in your mobile, and the power management, that is the battery capacity of the particular mobile, security and file system access, and hardware drivers that is in the your mobile device. So this is the bottommost layer which handles the entire OS that is built in your mobile. So the kernel is the core which is handling the CPU, scheduling and memory, and it is also having the file system for all the files that is being stored in the device, and the securities, which is for example the sandboxing, which is for uh, avoiding the unauthorized accesses, That is what is unboxing is about. All this is handled here, and especially and it optimize the battery usage. It the power is being saved whenever it is necessary. So that is what is here. The components that is built through this particular layer. When an app access to storage or uses the memory, the core OS layer controls the operation. So the higher layer always depends on the lower layer. Lower layer does not depends on the higher level. That is, the Cocoa Touch layer depends on the next layer, that is the media layer, and the media layer is dependent on the next layer, that is the core layer. And the core layer is dependent on the bottommost OS layer. So that is what is the understanding here. So always the higher layer are dependent on the lower layers, and the lower layer does not depend on the higher layers. This design improves modularity and high security. So one of the major advantage of this particular platform is easier application development, better system security, efficient resource management, and clear separation of responsibilities. So iOS architecture is a well structured, layered model that separates the user interface, multimedia system services, and hardware access. This layered approach helps Apple deliver secure, high performance, and user friendly mobile applications. Thank you.